All right, so example 2, they want us to identify corresponding points, identify an axis of symmetry and the vertex. So we've already talked about vertex of this function. So the function f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 11 is this graph here. Now vertex, we talked about vertex of an absolute value function. Remember that was the tip of the v, or if it was upside down it was still that point, the tip of the v. The vertex of a parabola is pretty much the same concept, it's just not the v. It's still the maximum, or in this case the minimum point, or if this was flipped the other way around it'd be the maximum point. That is still your vertex. So here, the lowest point here is right here, and that point happens to be, if you notice, this is going by 2's. So it's going to be 3. So this point here is going to be 3 for our x-axis, and then 2. So our vertex, I'll just write it here, vertex is 3, 2. Okay, now axis of symmetry, remember that's the line that drawn, it creates 2 mirror images of each other. So, and what's mentioned is that your axis of symmetry, that line goes through your vertex. Okay, so my axis of symmetry is going to be this line here. And if you notice, it's a vertical line, and we've done this quite a few chapters in a row now. When you graph a vertical line, it is an x equals that line. Remember, we can't graph vertical lines in our graphing calculators. So this line, or the axis of symmetry, is x equals 3, because that's that vertical line there. And it goes through the x coordinate of your vertex, which is 3. And then we have to identify these corresponding points. Okay, well, because this axis of symmetry makes mirror images, it's going to be the same height. So since P is here, I know my P prime is going to be here. Because if I folded it on the axis of symmetry, those points should be on top of one another. So this is going to be my P prime. Or I think in the notes I said, all right, if you look at your vertex, point P is 2, okay, 1, 2 to the left, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4. So your P prime has to be 2 to the right and also up 4, because it needs to be the same distance away from your vertex. So if I went 2 to the right here, I'd be at 5, 6. So P prime is 5, 6. And then Q prime, again, has to be corresponding. So if it folded, it would land on top of it. And you can see that point here, because Q is 1 to the right and 1 up. Q prime also has to be 1 away and 1 up. So I'm going to go 1 to the left and 1 up. And that takes us to 2, 3 is Q prime. So we're finished with this problem. We found the corresponding points. We found the axis of symmetry, the line that goes through the vertex, and we found our vertex, our minimum point in this case.